agenda today, we come to you at a time when there's massive debate, a lot of protests, everyone's got their eyebrows raised because an independent panel, which incidentally for the first time, usually lawmakers, whether it's MPs or MLAs, decide their own salaries. For the first time, the Speaker of Delhi Assembly got an independent panel which has recommended 400% salary hike for the MLAs here in the capital. And when AAP MLAs and the AAP government welcomed the move, it created a lot of storm. In fact, a lot of the young audience over here also, I was speaking to them earlier, they were like, how can they give themselves such a huge hike? But remember, when we talk about 400%, it's actually from 12,000 rupees per month to 50,000 rupees. And so the question we are asking is, AAP MLAs and the AAP government says that they're the only ones, the only party who actually need their salaries. Other people don't. Well, is that correct or not? And are we making too much fuss about this, or really is this an outrageous pay hike to give themselves? Let me just introduce the panel over here. PDT Achari, former Secretary General, and the person who has recommended this hike. He just told me that he stands accused today for ordering this audacious pay hike. We also have over here Major General retired Anil Verma of the Association of Democratic Reforms. They look at the kind of trends and study it from across the country. Now, the three lawmakers from the BJP, we have Lok Sabha MP Udit Raj, who joins us from the capital. Someone who is defending the pay hike, we have Saurabh Bhardwaj, an AAP MLA, and the ones who have the lowest salaries in the country, that's Odisha, that's Anubhav Patnaik, MLA of BJD. He joins us from Bhubaneswar. So I'm going to take that straight on to what the AAP government has said. They're saying they're the only ones who need the salaries. Everybody else, get their real means of money from other places, suggesting that they're the only ones who are honest. Udit Rajji, how do you respond to this kind of a reaction? You all are protesting, but that's how AAP explains itself.
See, I don't agree with the argument given by Aam Aadmi Party, but let me tell you, in current scenario, there is much of pressure of expenditure on public representatives. For instance, I receive 200, 300 people every day, and they expect that they are given water and tea, and they are made to sit properly, and of course they need the representative presence in constituency very often. Yes. So representative has to go in car, and it is basically his car. He spends a lot of money on driver and petrol, and other expenditures are also involved.
Yeah.
So no doubt expenditure, if you don't, then the people get angry with you. People are happy that, oh, हम इनके यहाँ गए, इन्होंने पानी नहीं पूछा, चाय नहीं पूछा. When you are receiving 200-300 people every day, you see, calculate the expenditure over 200-300 people, how much it comes. So what happened that it is needed everywhere. You see, not only here only, but everywhere it is needed. But of course, there is public perception that, oh, public representative there, why they need the salary for that? Then they should understand it that we are public representative, and people, when they come with expectations that they will be given a chair to sit, then the water, then other. Sometimes they even eat also. Sometimes when the people come from the constituency, they don't have money to go back to their home. They ask for the ticket. A ticket expenditure also.
It's obviously
so the
good
people's
that
representatives
MPs
work in.
So it's obviously good that as an MP you get 50,000 rupees already. So it's a little bit easier for you.
It's a peanut. I tell you, it's not enough. It is not enough. It is not if you come and see my house. See, from even just from 10 to 1 o'clock, you will count that at least 200-300 people are there. There are 2-3 secretaries. Then of course households are there who cater them. If you don't cater them, they will criticize. Sometimes they even fight. See what happened, that 50,000 rupees, do you think is enough for that?
Yes.
Currently in some of the organizations, in
It
some
is
of the
perhaps, just to tell our
organizations,
viewers,
and
that is why the MPs have now...
collects are drawing more salary than 50,000.
Okay, so let's just hear from everyone
whatever
else as
the
well.
expenditure
I understand your pain, and that is why perhaps the MPs are now asking for 1 lakh rupees. That's one of the recommendations. They want another hike as well. But just, you know, before Anil Verma...
Even that is less than. Even that is less than. Even that is not enough.
Okay. Saurabh Bhardwaj, obviously the BJP MP feels your pain. But I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to basically, before you answer, I want you to hear the reaction of some of these young students over here. These are not the Congress people who are protesting today. These are young people from Lady Airman College. And why do you think it's a bad idea?
Bad idea because I think when you talk about the basic pay, there's much more that the politicians get. You get other allowances like conveyance and rental. So if you
not
go
that
and add
much.
up to
No,
that,
there is no conveyance. Who said that you get
Sir,
the conveyance?
let's hear her out. Okay, yeah. So you think it's too much?
Not
400%
that,
is
not
too
and
much.
I think the MLAs knew what they were getting into before they took on this role to govern a state and a place. So I think it's the hike, 400% is too much of a hike.
Saurabh Bhardwaj, this young lady says, as a politician, you can't get market, you know, like what everyone else. It's not a competitive thing. To 400% is too much.
I do understand. I do understand that there is a popular misconception or a popular, you know, thinking that, you know, politicians make money from a lot of sources. However, I want to say, and people think that this is 12,000 is just a salary or a basic salary, and above it there is TA, DA, and it becomes a big package. However, it is not like other government servants. For us, you know, whatever, you know, allowances we get, for example, we get a secretariat allowance. So we cannot, you know, live on that money because we have to rent out a secretariat. We have to have an office somewhere on the main road. You have to give a rent for it. You have to have office boys there. You have to have all the things, you know. So all those allowances are basically needed. So the only component which is left for an MLA to sustain his life is 12,000 rupees. And with all the humility, you know, I want to say that I cannot sustain my family in 12,000 rupees a month. It is very less. You know, your kids will go to school. You have to sometimes give a rent for your house.
Yes.
Your wife, you know, it's a family. You know, you cannot sustain it in 12,000
and the
rupees.
BJP lawmaker are saying the same thing, and it perhaps takes us back to the 2012 tweet of Arvind Kejriwal, where he said all parties agree.
With the argument offered by Aam Aadmi Party. At the very set I said it. But
sir, let's just hear from everyone else, sir. Udit Rajji, sir, let's just hear from Mr. PDT Achari, who's over here. And sir, you heard what...
They only expect when they come, they visit to Republic representative that they are offered hospitality, they are offered tea and coffee and other facilities, and of course a member of parliament they get typewriter, they have a secretary.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Many people they have to deploy, they have to go to constituency.
Mr. Achari, when you were thinking of this,
expenditure involved.
Is it these expenditures that you had in mind when you thought of the pay hike?
Certainly we had all these factors in mind. And
First of all, are you having a rethink now?
No, not at all.
400% is valid.
We have done all the thinking before we prepared the report, you know. And then I fully agree with what Mr. Udit Raj and Mr. Bhardwaj have said.
Yeah.
So they have spoken the truth. This is the truth which we have to deal with.
But sir, what about what this young lady was saying, that it's not a professional thing, it's a calling, it's
I will tell you.
Is that young lady coming to the member of parliament, people representing, watching that what is happening when they are surrounded by a lot of people, and people expect that everybody should be treated properly.
Okay, sir, let's just hear the other people.
Hospitality.
Yeah,
go ahead. You know, there are two basic questions which arise in the context of a discussion on this issue. The questions are, number one, should there be a revision of the salary and allowances of the legislators? Now, if the answer is yes, then the second question is, what should be the scale of revision? Now, I will briefly go back to the Constitution to tell the audience that we have the Constitution and we have a provision in the Constitution which says that MPs and MLAs should be paid salary and allowances, and the scale of these allowances and salaries will be decided by the legislature. This is what the Constitution says.
Okay.
Now, it implies, I mean, determine from time to time. These are the words which are used by the Constitution.
So it should keep increasing.
Keep increasing. It
That's
is not.
What you think. That's what Constitution says.
It is not that you should revise an inadequate salary or allowances to a further inadequate level. That is not the issue. That is not what the Constitution means.
Sir, as someone who studies this across the country and who looks at election reforms, two things. One is many people talked about the whole, when you look at the kind of responses coming in, is it true that what they are suggesting that if you give more money, there will be less corruption? Is that true?
No, I think there is no linkage between corruption and the amount of money
no
that
linkage.
you give. But let me put across very quickly. One is that in the present Lok Sabha, 82% of the MPs are crorepatis. In the Delhi Assembly, 63% of the MLAs are crorepatis.
Yeah.
So that logic of, you know, कि खाना नहीं मिलेगा बच्चों को is not really very valid. That is one.
So you don't buy what they are saying.
But no, the second issue is that it is a valid thing to raise the salaries. After every 5 years, you take any job, whether it is a pay commission for the government people or for whatever, it is valid. I think it's a hype which is being created that 12,000 into 4 is, you know, 4 times. I don't buy that. If
it is valid, you're saying. So I want to go across to my guest.
It is valid, but there are certain issues.
Yeah.
One is the good thing which has happened is that for the first time a panel has decided.
Independent, not themselves.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that is a good thing. Second thing is that I don't agree with things like pension and all.
Okay.
If a person who's just served for a term of 5 years, and as a matter of fact, even for one day, if somebody is an MP, he is entitled to a pension.
And how much are you giving to retired MLAs, sir?
Now, we have suggested 15,000 rupees.
15,000. You think that's too much?
No, I have no issue with what is given. I am saying, do
Why
they
do you
deserve the
Okay.
pension?
So
and for the families also, and medical benefits and all that.
Okay, Anubhav Patnaik, just before we take a break, I wanted to ask you, when you hear people fighting over 2 lakhs and saying even that is not enough, you heard what Udit Raj said, and you all make do with 20,000 rupees as salary, what do you have to say to your Delhi counterparts?
See, it's basically, as a legislator, we have to give service to our constituents, at the same time become a legislator. So certain support is required in terms of honorarium, which is included in terms of salary and certain allowances. So I would suggest that more of secretarial support, which is to actually include research work, to understand various legislations work, and to also implement various policies which would address various socio-economic issues at the constituency level. So at certain point, at certain level, it is required to address these issues, and these honorarium are essential.
And how do you supplement your income? Like a lot of people, they said they have other jobs as lawyers or anything. Do you need to do that in Odisha with only 20,000 rupees that MLAs get?
The salary for an MLA in Odisha is only 12,000 rupees. Yeah. In addition to that, there are certain allowances which include conveyance allowance, which include the travelling allowances. Overall, it comes to around 60,000 rupees, which is one of the lowest honorarium that we get all over India. And in compared to other states like Jharkhand or Andhra Pradesh or Bihar, which are very neighboring states, which comes to around 1 lakh rupees overall in honorarium, which is very less in Odisha. But as a matter of fact, as I said, overall if you see, the salary part is only 0.02% of the total budget. If you see, the total salary or the expenses that is incurred for the legislator is hardly 15 crores in Odisha. Yeah, and the budget for Odisha government is 85,000 crore, which is hardly 0.02%.
Okay, so I get the point you're making.
Being a professional, I come from a corporate career.
Yeah. I get the point that you're making, that it's not like they're going to take away from the taxpayers and give it to you. I get that point. We're going to take a short break now, Mr. Patnaik. We'll give you a chance to say much more when we...
And it is actually helping us.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. I'll let you continue with that and also hear from the students who actually support this. For what reason? Be right back.